But now it's basically over. I don't have to worry about that anymore, but I don't want to be getting technicals at all. So I think like once we get there, it'll feel a little more real. And obviously, like, we're not just happy to be there. Like, I had to get it back here so our fans can, cheer us on and have a little taste of playoff basketball as well. She's the one babysitting me, and then somehow she ends up with a technical, and she didn't really do anything. She was just standing there, so that's what was funny to me.
Imagine this. You're killing it on the court, breaking rookie records left and right. Then suddenly your teammate decides to air the team's dirty laundry on social media. That's exactly what Caitlin Clark is dealing with right now. NaLyssa Smith just dropped a bombshell, and the fallout is insane. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. The Indiana Fever were on fire, riding Clark's incredible performances. But behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. Smith retweeted a post questioning her role on the team. Can you believe it? This wasn't just any tweet, it was a direct shot at the team's strategy. Let's talk about Smith's numbers. Last season, she was averaging 15.5 points per game. This season, only 10.4. That's a big drop. No wonder she's frustrated. But airing it out on social media? That's a whole other level. You know what's crazier? This tweet was just the beginning. What happened next sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA. The drama that unfolded after this? It's going to blow your mind. Remember how Smith's tweet seemed like a big deal? That was nothing compared to what came next. Fever fans didn't just get upset, they went nuclear. But here's the real kicker. Their reaction revealed something much deeper about the team's struggles. The moment Smith hit that retweet button, it was like she'd lit a match in a room full of gasoline. Fans exploded with anger, calling for her to be traded or even kicked off the team entirely. You'd think she'd insulted their mothers or something, but why such an extreme reaction? Here's the thing. Fever fans had been riding high on the Caitlin Clark wave. They were finally tasting success after years of disappointment. So when Smith seemed to be complaining about her role, it felt like a slap in the face to the team's newfound momentum. Imagine you're a die-hard Fever supporter. Your team's finally winning, and then one of the players starts airing dirty laundry on social media. How would you feel? Betrayed? Angry? That's exactly what happened here. But this fan fury exposed a deeper issue. It highlighted the tension between individual ambition and team success. Smith's frustration with her reduced stats was real, but fans saw it as selfish in the face of the team's overall improvement. This whole mess raises some big questions about social media and sports. How can a single tweet disrupt an entire season? It's not just about what Smith said, it's about how quickly it spread and how fans reacted. In the age of instant communication, team drama doesn't stay in the locker room anymore. The Fever were building serious playoff momentum.
I think like once we get there, it'll feel a little more real. And obviously, like, we're not just happy to be there. Like, we really feel like we can believe and we can compete with every single team that's going to be in the playoffs. My teammates do a really good job of that. They think I'm funny. They think it's funny. So
Clark was lighting up the scoreboard, the team was winning games, and then bam! One tweet threatens to derail everything. It's like throwing a wrench into a finely tuned machine. But here's where it gets really interesting. This controversy started peeling back the layers on some deeper issues within the Fever organization. How does a team balance the needs of its established players with the rise of a new superstar? Smith's frustration didn't come out of nowhere. Think about it. Last season, Smith was the go-to player. Now she's watching Clark take center stage. That's got to be a tough adjustment. But does that justify potentially sabotaging team chemistry? The fans' reaction puts the Fever management in a tough spot. Do they side with the fans and punish Smith? Or do they try to smooth things over and risk alienating their supporters? It's a lose-lose situation that could have long-lasting effects on the team's culture. This whole situation is a perfect storm of social media, fan expectations, and the pressure cooker of professional sports. One player's moment of frustration has snowballed into a full-blown crisis that threatens to define the Fever's season. As NaLyssa Smith's frustrations boil over, another Fever player is cooking up something special. Caitlin Clark just dropped 35 points in a game, but that's not even the craziest part of her story. While the team's dealing with off-court drama, Clark's been on a tear, breaking records left and right. It's like she's playing a different game out there. Let's talk about those insane numbers. Clark's not just scoring, she's rewriting the rookie record books. That 35-point game, it's just one highlight in a season full of them. She's averaging points in the high 20s, dishing out assists like candy, and grabbing rebounds that players with way more experience can't get to. It's wild to think she's doing all this as a rookie. But here's what's really impressive. Clark's not just about her own stats, she's all about the team. While Smith's been tweeting about her reduced role, Clark's been preaching teamwork. She actually said, "I think we just really read and understand each other a lot better from where we were at the beginning of the season." That's the kind of attitude that wins championships.
She's the one babysitting me, and then somehow she ends up with a technical, and she didn't really do anything. She was just standing there, so that's what was funny to me. And that would have been another huge accomplishment for our group if we were able to beat them once. I think it has been since 2010. I think I did a better job. I still thought there was like a couple moments there where I could have been a little bit better.
Now imagine you're NaLyssa Smith. Last year, you're the star of the show. This year, you're watching a rookie take center stage. Clark's emergence has changed everything for the Fever. The offense runs through her now, which means fewer touches for players like Smith. It's got to be a tough pill to swallow. But here's the thing, Clark's success is both a blessing and a curse for the team. On one hand, they've got a superstar who's taking them to new heights. The Fever are in playoff contention, and Clark's a big reason why. On the other hand, it's creating some serious tension in the locker room. How do you keep everyone happy when one player is shining so bright? You've got to wonder how this is affecting team chemistry. Basketball's a team sport, but individual roles matter too. Clark's doing everything right, saying all the right things about teamwork and understanding each other better. But actions speak louder than words, and her dominance on the court is reshaping the entire team dynamic. Think about it. The Fever went from being a bottom-tier team to playoff contenders almost overnight. That's huge. But it also means some players are seeing their roles change dramatically. For a player like Smith, who is used to being the go-to option, watching Clark take over must be a real challenge. This whole situation raises some big questions about how teams handle the rise of a new star. Do you build everything around the hot hand and risk alienating other talented players? Or do you try to spread things out more evenly and potentially limit your best player's impact? There's no easy answer, and the Fever are right in the middle of figuring it out. Clark's incredible rookie season is forcing everyone, from coaches to teammates to fans, to rethink what's possible. She's not just putting up numbers, she's changing the entire conversation around the Fever and the WNBA. But success comes with its own set of challenges, and right now, the team's biggest hurdle might be managing the ripple effects of Clark's stardom. You'd think all this drama would sink a team faster than a lead balloon, but get this, the Fever are on fire. They're not just winning games, they're steamrolling the competition. After starting the season with a dismal 2-9 record, they've turned things around in a way nobody saw coming. The Fever have gone 18-10 since then, transforming from league laughingstock to serious playoff contenders. How did they pull off this miraculous turnaround? It's not just about Caitlin Clark's stellar performances. The entire team has stepped up their game. They're playing with a newfound intensity and cohesion that's catching opponents off guard. It's like they flipped a switch and suddenly remembered how to dominate on the court. But here's where things get tricky. Just as the Fever are hitting their stride, NaLyssa Smith drops her social media bombshell. Talk about bad timing. When you're making a playoff push, team chemistry is everything. One wrong move, one disgruntled player, and the whole house of cards can come tumbling down. Think about it. The Fever have finally found their groove. They're winning games, building momentum, and starting to believe they could go all the way. Then bam! Internal drama threatens to derail everything they've worked so hard for. It's like trying to run a marathon with your shoelaces tied together. The Fever management is in a tight spot now. On one hand, they've got a winning formula that's working wonders. On the other, they've got a talented player who's clearly unhappy with her role. Do they stick to what's working and risk alienating Smith even further? Or do they try to appease her and potentially mess up their newfound success? It's not an easy call. Smith isn't some bench warmer. She's a key player who can make a huge difference when she's on her game. But basketball is a team sport, and right now, the team is thriving. The Fever have to figure out how to keep Smith engaged without disrupting the chemistry that's fueling their winning streak. This whole situation is like a ticking time bomb. The Fever are so close to something special. They've gone from being the team everyone wanted to play to the team everyone fears. But with the playoffs looming, this internal conflict could be the make-or-break factor in their championship dreams. Imagine being in the Fever's locker room right now. The tension must be through the roof. You've got players who are riding high on their recent success, and then there's Smith, feeling left out and frustrated. How do you keep everyone focused on the bigger picture when there's this elephant in the room? The next few weeks are going to be crucial for the Fever. They need to find a way to address Smith's concerns without losing the magic that's been working for them. It's a delicate balancing act, and one wrong move could send everything crashing down. Just when you thought the Fever couldn't handle any more drama, a shocking twist emerges. What if NaLyssa Smith's frustration isn't the team's biggest problem, but their secret weapon? Everyone's talking trades and team turmoil, but there's a wild possibility nobody's considering. Let's break it down. Smith's tweet storm shook things up, no doubt. Fans are calling for her head, demanding trades left and right. But here's the thing. The Fever's management isn't hitting the panic button. They actually picked up Smith's fourth-year option. That's a pretty big vote of confidence, right? Now, you might be thinking, are they crazy? She just threw the team under the bus. But maybe, just maybe, they're onto something. Smith's not some bench warmer. She's a starter, a key piece of the Fever's puzzle. Last season, she was dropping 15.5 points per game. This year, it's down to 10.4. That's a big drop, and it's clear she's not happy about it. But here's where it gets interesting. What if Smith's outburst is exactly what the team needs? Think about it. Sometimes you need someone to stir the pot, to force those uncomfortable conversations. Smith's tweet might just be the wake-up call the Fever needed. Imagine this. Instead of trading Smith or benching her, the Fever used this as a chance to address some underlying issues. Maybe there's been tension brewing for a while, and Smith's tweet just brought it to the surface. This could be the perfect opportunity for a team meeting to clear the air and get everyone on the same page. You know what's wild? This whole mess could actually improve team chemistry. I know, it sounds crazy. But hear me out. When you're forced to confront problems head-on, it can bring a team closer together. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. It hurts at first, but then you can start healing. So what's next for NaLyssa and the Fever? Here's a crazy idea. What if they encourage Smith to channel her frustrations into something positive? Instead of shutting her down, they could give her a platform to voice her concerns constructively. Maybe she gets more involved in game planning or takes on a leadership role in practice. This approach could be a game changer. Smith gets to feel heard and valued, and the team benefits from her insights and renewed focus. It's a win-win situation that nobody's talking about. But let's be real for a second. This isn't going to be easy. The Fever are in a pressure cooker situation. They're making a playoff push, and every game counts. They can't afford any distractions or internal conflicts. But if they play this right, they could come out stronger than ever. Think about the message this sends to the rest of the league. The Fever aren't just a team with a rising star in Caitlin Clark. They're a team that can handle adversity, that can turn potential disasters into opportunities for growth. That's the kind of reputation that attracts top talent and builds championship cultures. All right, let's break down this whole NaLyssa Smith drama. It's crazy how one tweet can shake up an entire team, right? This mess shows just how powerful social media is in sports these days. One moment you're scrolling, the next you're in the middle of a team crisis. But here's the real deal. It's not just about tweets. It's about finding that sweet spot between personal goals and team success. The Fever are trying to juggle a rising star in Caitlin Clark with keeping everyone else happy. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while riding a unicycle. How the Fever handle this could make or break their season. It's not just about wins and losses anymore. It's about building a team that can weather storms and come out stronger. This moment could shape the Fever's future for years to come. Will they crumble under pressure or rise above it all?